Hello, it is me, Amber, your favorite reseller and now viral TikTok star. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy to me that all of this is happening. So if I just start from the beginning here. So a long time ago, I made an Instagram page, Arbitrage with Amber, to talk about reselling. And over time, that expanded in terms of what I would talk about. And I started sharing my dating content. And I started with just like, oh, I have a first date tonight. I'm looking up the menu before we go there. And then it really evolved and I would like give updates like after the date. So this guy, we matched on Hinge, and on his profile, he had a Patagonia on, and I was like, oh, green flag, because I sell Patagonia. And we connected about personal finance because that's something that I have on my page. And we talked about that a little bit. And after a while, he was like, okay, this is gonna sound weird, but do you wanna go on a date at Target? And he's like, we can just like walk around and talk and then like get anything that we need to. And then even if the date is bad, like at least we still got some errands done. And I was like, I'm gonna say yes, because I cannot resist the possibility of good story, and what a good story this has become, because I'm on television now. I was on TV this morning, and I'll be on TV again on Monday. So it's absolutely crazy. So anyways, let me take you through the date. So I get to Target and I'm there a little early, so I'm in my car. I'm like, I'm just gonna make a quick TikTok about this. 9 seconds. Roll the clip. A guy from Hinge asked me on a date, and here we are. This is where he wanted to go. So I'm here. So that's what I posted, and then I went in and we decided to meet at the card section because he wanted to get some Easter cards for his family. I was like, okay, cute. And I walk in the door and you can see the card section there, and there's like this old man there, and I was like, did I get catfished? No, my actual date, he was just like around behind a display, and I like walk over to him and I'm like, oh, you find any good cards? And it was like a little awkward at first because there was another couple standing near us, and I didn't want to make it seem so obvious that like I didn't know this man, but I was like talking to him. Anyways, so then we just like walked through the store, and you know, we'd like go through the pet section, and I was like, do you have any pets? Like, did you have any pets growing up? And we would go through like the games and stuff. And honestly, it wasn't bad. Like, I was definitely skeptical, but once I was there, I was like, okay, this is nice because it's like low commitment. He also said, he was like, if at any point like things aren't working out, we can just go our separate ways down different aisles. We don't need to make a big show about it. But it was good. So then we left, and we were like, he bought a few things, checked out, we were like walking to the door. And I don't know which one of us mentioned a second date, and I was like, oh, you're really into climbing, like, should we go do that? And he's like, well, then you'd have to meet a bunch of my friends. And he's like, I don't know if I'm ready to let you into my world. And I was like, okay, man. Turns out I am now very much in his world, and I think all of his friends know about me now. So hi, if you're one of his friends watching this, I know you guys looked at my TikTok, which is very embarrassing for me. But anyways, so then I get home, I check my TikTok, it had like 2,000 views. I'm like, okay, funny. And you know, there's a couple comments, people are like, oh, I need an update, like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. So I gave a little update that like it was pretty good, whatever. Okay, I am home now and I'm eating gelato, and honestly, it was like pretty good because he pointed out if we had just like gone on a walk in a park, it would be like basically the same thing, except the weather like wasn't great, so it wouldn't have been a good time to go on a walk in the park. But also it helped conversation because we could just like point to things and be like, oh, have you ever played this game or whatever? So yeah, if you need a new date idea, try it out. And then I went to bed and I woke up and this video had 135,000 views and like a ton of comments, and they were like kind of starting to be all over the place, where some people are like, oh, what a cheap date, like that's very low effort, like that's a red flag. Other people are like, oh, that's a green flag, like women love Target and there's a Starbucks there. And like obviously if I didn't want to go on the date, I wouldn't have said yes. So it was fine for me. People are so pressed about that. But also in the comments, there are so many people being like, marry him, marry this man right now. And I'm like, I went on one date with this guy, like we gotta chill, people. But we are planning a second date. So anyways, I woke up, the video had 135,000 views. I text this guy. I'm like, are you on TikTok? And he's like, OMG, no, LOL. And then I had to admit to this man, I was like, so I am on TikTok and I made a TikTok about our date right before the date started and now it's going viral. And he's like, well, you can't tell me that and not show it to me. So I sent him the link, and then I saw that I like got a new follower, like he made a TikTok account. And then a little while later he texted me and he's like, I did not just spend 10 minutes going through all of your TikToks. No, I did not. And I was like, that is so embarrassing, because I have so many TikToks that are about Tinder dates or Hinge dates or Facebook dating. Like that's what most of my content is. That's what I make TikToks about. And so I responded to him. I was like, that's very embarrassing, but I bet you know a lot about me now. And he was like, how many Tinder dates do you go on a week? And I don't measure it like per week. I go on so many. I don't even remember what I said to him now, but like, yes, obviously I've been on a lot. I think I said, I was like, I should have screenshotted all of these to read, but I was like, I know that if I want a boyfriend, I can't just like sit around and wait for someone to fall from the sky. Like I have to put in the effort. And I think he's like, okay, whatever. But then on one of the TikToks, someone commented W for Joey. That's his name. I can just call him that now because that's what all the news articles said. Anyways, so I sent a screenshot of that to him and I was like, is this your friend? Like I didn't use your name. And he's like, oh yeah, that's my friend. And I was like, oh my God, your friends are on my TikTok page? Your friends don't know anything about me except that I go on a ton of Tinder and Hinge dates. That's so embarrassing. So it was my lunch break. So I was like, I gotta make a video for them. So then I made this TikTok. This is for my Hinge dates friends who have found my TikTok page. So if that's not you, you can keep scrolling. First of all, hi, hello. I'm so sorry that my TikTok page is your only impression of me. So I would just like to give you some more information about myself. First, here's my master's degree from Drake University. I also have 2 bachelor's degrees. I work at a tech startup. In my free time, I run a small business that did $40,000 in sales last year. I read like a book a week. I lift weights in the morning. Last year, I maxed out all of my retirement accounts. But I am kind of a basic bitch. Love The Bachelor, Bachelorette, Taylor Swift, green tea shots, Chili's molten lava cake. So yeah, that's a little bit more about me. Sorry we're meeting this way. Maybe I can meet you in person someday. Okay, thanks, bye. And I sent it to Joey in a text. I was like, send this to your friend Nick. And he responded, he's like, oh my gosh, you're going too hard. And yeah, I was like, I just need to like explain myself a little bit. Anyways, so all of this is happening. And then I find out there's like an article out in the Daily Dot and it doesn't really give any information. It's just like, they turned my 9-second TikTok into an article, and I sent that in my work chat, and I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, I'm going viral. And at the point they wrote the article, I had like 200,000 views, and they were like, oh my gosh, you're famous, like so cool. And it was just kind of crazy. And then like I got an email from a reporter at the New York Post. And she was like, oh, can we have an interview? And I was like, yeah. And so I had an interview with her, I think like around lunchtime that day. And she asked me a ton of questions. She was like, do you see yourself having grandkids with this man? She's like, would you recommend this? Like if you had a daughter in the future, would you recommend it to her? She was going real in depth. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I've never had So many people ask me if there's gonna be a second date and what we're doing for the second date. I was like, people, like, our first date was like literally a day ago. Like, we've barely talked, besides like, oh, this is also crazy about TikTok. So anyways, then I had that interview, and then like a couple more articles came out, and for a while the video was getting like 1,000 views per minute. Like, it was just going crazy. And I had this girl from high school who I haven't spoken to in 7 years. She sent me a message on Instagram with one of the articles, and she was like, is this you? And I was like, yeah. And then like other people from high school, I saw them like following my TikTok page, and I was like, oh, this is embarrassing because I have not talked to you in so long. And yeah, it just like kept going and going. And obviously I shared about it on my reselling Instagram, and then I also like personally tweeted about it. And then so like some of those friends were seeing it, and my brother texted me. He's like, I heard you're famous now. And it got real big. Okay, and then funny thing was, that night I had a different first date. And so I was just gonna go get drinks with this guy. I went and got drinks. I was like, I should not bring up this whole like TikTok going viral thing because it's about another date, and I feel like that's gonna ruin my chances with this guy. So of course I can't keep my mouth shut, and I brought it up with the other guy. But he thought it was kind of funny, and he was like, oh, my roommate's a manager at Target, blah, blah, blah. He could probably hook you up. And because the whole time Joey's like, we better get a Target gift card out of this. And he's like, you have to split it with me. And I'm like, okay, deal, man. But yeah, so then after the date, I get home, and this reporter, Will from ABC News, had sent me an email and a DM on Instagram. He was like, hey, do you have time for a Zoom interview? And I freaked out. I'm like, are you kidding me? The ABC News wants to talk to me about my first date? I was like, this is crazy. And I did not expect this ever. So I sent him a message, but I was like, okay, it's like 9 p.m. in Iowa. It's probably like 10 p.m. there. And if he is like on the news, he probably has to wake up really early. He's probably like going to bed. So it was like 20 minutes and I hadn't heard from him. So I like put my pajamas on. I was getting ready for bed. And then I'm still like scrolling on Instagram, and I like saw his message pop up. He's like, yeah, I'm free right now. And I was like, oh my gosh, my heart started beating so fast. And I messaged him back. I'm like, okay, yeah, like email me a Zoom link and I can jump on a call real quick. I need to change first. So I put back on the sweater that I was wearing for the date, and I like had to plug in my phone. It was at 7%. And I like drug a chair into my bathroom so that I could have like decent lighting. And I still don't think it was that great, but we like had the call, and he was like really funny about it. And, you know, like asking like, oh, what did he buy there? And I'm like, oh, he got peanut butter and whatever and Easter cards. But yeah, it's gone so big. So then, yeah, after that, I had to like message all my friends. I was like, oh my God, this guy from ABC News just interviewed me. I'm gonna be on national television. And he said it should be on Monday morning, probably like, he said like 4 a.m., which is very early. But if I'm gonna be on national television, yeah, I'll wake up at 4 a.m. to watch myself live. But then he said it'll be on ABC online after that, the video clips. So I was like, okay, awesome. And then that night, the video hit 500,000 views, which is crazy because when I posted the video, I had like 300 followers on TikTok. And right now I'm up to like 900, so like nothing crazy. But the fact that it got so many views. So anyways, go to bed, wake up again. Today, this morning, I had another DM from a guy on Instagram, and he was like, I run a morning show in Anchorage, Alaska. Do you want to have an interview? And I'm saying yes. And the whole time I'm like messaging Joey. I'm like, this person wants an interview. This person wants an interview. And after I had the ABC News one, he was like, this is crazy. And he's like, I hope you plugged your Patagonia business. And I was like, green flag, this man supports my business. So like that felt really good. And I was like, no, I didn't do that. Like, I just like, I don't know. I just didn't want to do it. But I did, going back, I told the ABC News guy, I was like, we're really hoping that Target reaches out to us. So anyways, this morning, then I had a call with the guy from Anchorage, Alaska, who does a radio show. And, you know, some of these like different people that had interviewed me, they're like, where are you at? And I'm like, you know, like Des Moines, Iowa. And they're like, was there anything else to do? And it was like, oh yeah, we had plenty of other options, but we still went to Target. So anyways, each time I would like message Joey with these interviews, I was like, do you want to be interviewed? Like, do you want me to start like asking if you can come along? And he's like, no, I'm fine, like remaining mystery man. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what if all of this like TikTok fame and viralness is like actually ruining my chances with this guy? Because in the New York Post article, the way that we were referred to, they called me digital darling, a blonde tech specialist, which drove my coworkers insane. They were like, you are so much more than that. And I'm like, guys, my title at work is made up. No one's going to understand it. Like, she did the best she could. I don't really care about that. But she called this man, she called Joey, my big box boo. And he texted me, he's like, no one's ever called me their big box boo before. And I was like, oh, that's actually what I have your contact name saved as in my phone. So he's totally fine, just like remaining a mystery. I did tell the one interviewer, well, now multiple of them, that his name was Joey. So like, that's all people know. But I don't really think that anyone could connect us to each other because, well, I guess you could go through my TikTok followers and look for men named Joey. That's probably the only way you could do it. Good luck to those of you out there who want to try. Please don't comment his name on anything. I don't want to make it weird for him. But yeah, no, anyways, he was like, okay, we'll go on a second date, but you have to decide this time. And I was joking. Even when we were in Target, we were like, oh yeah, maybe next time we go to like Home Goods. And then I was like, oh, maybe we go to Bass Pro Shop. Like there's a lot going on there. But we like finally figured out our schedules. He was like, yeah, I'm going home to Kansas City this weekend, but I'll be back Sunday night if you want to do something. I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. The problem is that Sunday is Easter and a ton of stuff is going to be closed. And also the weather is going to be like, the high is 39. So we have very limited options of what to do. But I think I'm going to see if he wants to go to Smash Park, because that'll be open. We can play games, get drinks, food, a little bit more traditional of a date. But yeah, hopefully I did not ruin this. Everyone's like, oh, this will be such a cute story to tell your kids someday. And I'm like, I am not even thinking that far ahead. Like right now I'm thinking like, this is such a funny story to tell in like 2 truths and a lie, or when people are like, oh, introduce yourself and share a fun fact. Like, that's what I'm thinking of right now. Like, I don't want to get my hopes up. I'm trying to be realistic here. But anyways, then on Instagram, I was like, do you guys have any questions you want to ask? And some people did. And I also want to like talk about some of the comments on the video. So first of all, a ton of people were like, did you get Starbucks? And I don't drink coffee. So no, I did not want Starbucks. Also, it was 7 p.m. So no, to long story short. And one of the radio guy who interviewed me, he asked the same thing. I was like, no, I don't drink coffee. He's like, what about like tea? And I was like, no, not really. And he was like, do you just hate all beverages? I was like, no, I drink like water, chocolate milk, juice, alcoholic beverages. And I was like, why am I talking about this? Anyways, we did not go to Starbucks. Okay, also, I did not buy anything. Some people were like, that is gonna be like the most expensive date ever, whatever. no, I have willpower. I know I don't like impulse buy stuff, which is what Target makes money on. And the ABC News guy who interviewed me, when I said that, he was like, you didn't buy anything at Target? He's like, that is the real story here. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So no, I didn't spend any money, which, perfect. But then like someone on Instagram was like, you said that you never shop at Target. Has that changed? I have not bought anything at Target in like a year and a half. So if they want to send me a gift card, like, go ahead, Target. I will find something there that I want. But most of the time, like, I thrift a lot of stuff. So, and then people are like, would you do this again? Like, would you recommend this to people? And I think, like, you have to know the other person well enough to know if it's something they would like. Because Joey did point out that walking around Target is like going on a walk in the park, but you don't have to worry about what the weather's like. And it was really windy that day anyways, so I would have been miserable outside. So, you know, it worked out. So yeah, I would personally go on another Target date. I don't imagine that I could go viral again for going on a TikTok date. But there were a ton of comments of people being like, oh, my first date with my husband was at Target and we're still together. And now we have 8 children. And like, there's so many of those comments. Like, you can read them. They're out there. Someone else asked, does Target guy follow you and watch your social media? So now he follows me on TikTok, and my TikTok is linked to my personal Instagram. But there's nothing that connects that to my reselling Instagram or this YouTube channel. So unless I share these with him, I don't imagine that he'll see it unless I put my TikTok name in the description. And then I don't know if one of his friends like turned on a Google alert or something, because he knew there was another article out before Joey and I even did. And I was like, okay, maybe he's just like continuously searching this. Maybe he turned on alerts. Either way, currently, no, he has not been watching my stories of me like freaking out about going viral. And then someone else asked, do you feel bad that it was his idea, but you're being interviewed? And then in parentheses, they put, I wouldn't. You're so funny. I asked him, I was like, do you want to be in these? And he was like, no, I'm fine. So I love this. Some people are like, you should be getting paid for these interviews. I'm like, no, really? Like, they don't have to pay me, because the video is public. It's out on the internet. You can easily write a story off of that. Me saying yes to the interview just helps you make the article more in depth and, you know, boosts my ego a little bit, and I get my 15 minutes of fame. So, I mean, I'll keep saying yes. I feel like it's gonna slow down now. I really think this is the peak. I can't see it getting any bigger than this. But I would love to be flown out to like the Today Show with Joey. That would be so funny. And I have seen, like, there was this one Tinder couple that they flew out one time. So yeah, it could happen. Everyone please manifest that for me. Someone said, if you were to go on another Target first date, what would you do differently? Well, now I know that, like, really it's not that bad. It's kind of fun. I don't know that I would do anything else differently. I mean, I was skeptical, but I did show up with a smile on my face, so I had a good attitude about that, and maybe that's what he was like looking for, is can we do all these mundane day-to-day kind of things that is what dating would actually look like when you're with someone long-term. So maybe he was just trying to skip a few steps and like get to that point. But yeah. And then someone else asked, can you bring him on the YouTube video? I'm 99% sure this man does not want to be on this YouTube video. When I did bring up a second date at Bass Pro Shops, he was like, are you gonna film this? And I was like, oh, absolutely. I am here to give the people what they want. but we're not going to Bass Pro Shops. I think I'm going to get him, like, he mentioned going to movie theaters. He really liked the Raisinets candy, so I think I'm gonna get him a box of those before our next date. And then I think I'm also gonna get him a card. So when we were in the card section, we were talking about, like, I had this one story that I told. This friend got married and had all of these wedding cards, and they just kept them all. And then whenever someone had, like, a birthday or a graduation or whatever, they would just cross out words on the cards, and, like, instead of, like, congratulations on your marriage, you'd be like, congratulations on your scribble, 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 graduation, and, like, send that to someone. So I think I'm gonna get him a card that says, like, I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm gonna, like, change it to be like, I'm sorry I made a viral TikTok about our date and now strangers on the internet are saying mean things about you. And I think I'm gonna give him that and the Raisinets. And hopefully that will redeem myself a little bit going into the second date. I would love to make another TikTok on it. I don't know if he wants to be in it. And I don't know how long people would deal with, like, just me being in the videos. But maybe I can, like, convince him for, like, a soft launch, like, hey, put your hand here where I can see it in the video, where people know it's a man. Anyways, I just think this is also funny. So anyways, that's my side of the story. I'm sure I forgot some things that I'm gonna think about later. Oh, actually, one thing I thought of right now, this woman that I met in an airport back in 2018, stick with me here. We both missed our connecting flights. We were both there. She was from Minnesota. We talked a whole bunch, whatever. We added each other on Facebook. This morning, she posts on my Facebook wall, Amber, did I just see you on TV? It looked like you. And I was like, oh my gosh, Kim, it probably was me. And then I was like, what show was this? Like, I want to see it. And she's in Minneapolis, and it was like their morning show. So I don't know if they were just, like, playing the video, or some of them have been, like, taking photos from my Instagram page and, like, using those. So I'm glad that I looked nice in all of those photos, but yeah. Okay, I think now I'm actually done. I think this is the end. I cannot promise that I will continue this kind of content on my YouTube channel. Maybe. If you really like this, I have plenty more dating stories that I'm sure I could talk about for a while. If you want to hear more, leave me a comment. I need to know that other people want this, because I don't want to, like, drive away all of my subscribers who are only here for reselling content. But if you only want reselling content, there are plenty of other people out there who will give it to you. I am here to entertain as well. So thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Love you. Bye.